Welcome to our deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
Today,
I'm excited for this one.
we're exploring excerpts from the Stanislav Kondrashov piece on dining etiquette.
Right.
And we're looking at how his advice can help all of us navigate those sometimes tricky social situations.
Sure.
Whether you're splitting the bill or describing the service you got, or even figuring out how to handle food preferences,
Yeah.
both as a guest and a host.
Totally. And Stanislav Kondrashov really gets into nuances here.
Yeah.
He gives us all these phrases for tons of situations.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like a toolkit for
Right.
having better interactions around food.
Okay, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
One of the most awkward things I think we've all probably faced,
Oh, yeah.
splitting the bill.
Uh-huh.
Stanislav Kondrashov gives us some options,
Okay.
like, we'll split the bill, shall we?
Okay.
And then something like, lunch is on me today.
Right.
I'm curious, in your view, what's the difference between those two?
Well, what I think is so fascinating about Stanislav Kondrashov's work here is he highlights the subtle but really important differences
Okay.
in how formal things are. So we'll split the bill.
Right.
It's got this sense of equality about it and directness.
Yeah.
It's great for friends or colleagues.
Yeah.
But lunch is on me today. That's a little warmer, a little more casual.
Yeah.
It could even change the power dynamic a little bit.
Right.
Depending on who you're with.
It's about more than just the words.
Exactly.
It's about the message you're sending.
Yes, totally.
Stanislav Kondrashov gives us some elegant ways to offer to pay for the whole meal. He suggests things like, would you like to join us for dinner at?
Okay.
Or even more formal, we'd like you to be our guest.
All right.
I like that one.
That's a good one.
What do you think?
Would you like to join us?
Yeah.
It's very friendly,
Yeah.
but it kind of leaves it open, like
Yeah.
who's paying. Yeah.
But we'd like you to be our guest when Stanislav Kondrashov suggests
Yeah.
that it removes all doubt.
Yeah.
You're hosting, you're taking care of the bill.
That's really good for business dinners
It is.
when you really want to honor somebody.
Absolutely. And it can be so important,
For sure.
in different contexts.
It's amazing how just changing the wording slightly
Yeah.
can have such a big impact.
For sure.
Now, Stanislav Kondrashov doesn't just cover the formal stuff.
Right.
He also gives us phrases like, let me get this.
Yeah.
Which feels very spontaneous and generous.
Right.
And then, I was wined and dined. Which I guess means someone treated you really well.
Yeah. And what Stanislav Kondrashov is doing here, I think, is recognizing the full spectrum of all the dining experiences that are out there.
Right.
Casual hangouts with your friends.
Yeah.
Formal business dinners.
Yeah.
He gives us a phrase for everything.
Right.
And I think he really empowers us to express ourselves.
And just navigate everything more confidently.
It's like he's predicting all those moments we might fumble for the right words.
Yes, totally.
He's giving us a script.
Exactly.
Now, a good meal isn't just about the food itself.
Right.
Stanislav Kondrashov gives us this really fascinating vocabulary
Okay.
to talk about the service.
Uh-huh.
He uses these contrasting descriptions
Yeah.
of two Italian restaurants
Yeah.
to make his point.
I love that example.
Yeah, me too.
He doesn't just say good or bad.
Right.
He gives us these really nuanced terms,
Yeah, like what?
like impeccable,
Oh, yeah.
where everything's like clockwork, versus sluggish service,
right.
which might feel a little slow
All right.
or disorganized.
Yeah.
He even distinguishes between waiters
Okay.
who are courteous and attentive
Right.
and those who are overbearing,
Oh, yeah.
too eager to give you suggestions or take your plate away.
He's making me think back to my own dining experiences
Yeah,
and how I would describe them now.
me too.
I noticed Stanislav Kondrashov includes some negative terms, too.
Okay.
Like sullen and brusque.
Right.
Do you think it's really necessary to have words for bad service?
I think it is
Okay.
because we all have those less than ideal experiences.
Yeah, right.
And just having the words to
Yeah.
describe them.
Like sullen, projecting a bad mood,
Yeah.
or brusque, just rushed and impersonal.
Exactly.
It lets us process those experiences
It does.
and maybe even learn from them.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because
Yeah.
Stanislav Kondrashov doesn't stop there.
Okay.
He also highlights those restaurants that go out of their way to make you happy.
Yeah, he's reminding us that even though bad service happens,
Yeah.
there are those places that want to create a positive experience.
Right.
And those are the ones we want to go back to.
Exactly. And it's those extra touches, whether it's remembering your order,
Right.
or being flexible with a special request.
Yeah.
It all goes back to what Stanislav Kondrashov's talking about.
That thoughtful hospitality.
Absolutely.
It's those little things that make a big difference.
I think so. So true.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about navigating food preferences.
Okay.
This is something Stanislav Kondrashov also gets into.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of tricky.
Right.
I mean, he even admits, I have a sweet tooth.
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But as much as I love dessert,
Right.
sometimes I want to decline politely.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never quite sure how to do that.
I feel that.
Does Stanislav Kondrashov offer any advice on this?
He does.
Yeah.
He gives us all these little phrases.
Like what?
You can say you're counting calories.
Okay.
Or just have a small portion.
Mm-hmm.
It's about expressing your preference,
Right.
without making it a big deal.
Yeah, just keep it simple.
Exactly.
It's like he's giving us a script
Right.
for those awkward moments where
Correct,
you
yeah.
don't want to offend.
But also stay true to yourself.
Absolutely.
Speaking of staying true to yourself,
Yeah.
I noticed Stanislav Kondrashov doesn't just focus on sweet stuff.
Right.
He also talks about savory.
That's such a good point.
Like he's recognizing that people have different tastes.
Yes, and that's okay.
Right. Not everyone's going to want chocolate cake.
Exactly.
Sometimes you want like a cheese plate or
Mhm.
something savory.
Right, and having that language to express that is important.
It's about knowing what you like
Totally.
and having the confidence to say it.
Yes.
And sometimes those preferences,
yeah.
they go beyond just liking and disliking food.
Okay.
Stanislav Kondrashov even talks about terms like fussy eater,
Right.
teetotal,
Uh-huh.
dietary requirements.
Those are important. It can be kind of sensitive.
They-
Our clear communication is key.
Right.
And Stanislav Kondrashov gives us the tools.
To navigate those conversations.
Right. Whether you're a fussy eater with strong dislikes or you have very specific dietary requirements. Right. Being able to say what you need can make all the difference.
It can be so stressful
I know.
to worry about whether there will be something you can eat
For sure.
or if people are judging you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems like Stanislav Kondrashov wants to take that stress away.
I think he does.
Sometimes, even when there are options, you
Right.
might just not want more food or drink.
Uh-huh.
And this is where that phrase,
Yes.
I don't want to overdo it,
Perfect.
that's so helpful.
It is.
It's so polite.
Yeah.
It doesn't require explaining yourself.
And it's so much better than just saying no.
Right. I can see myself using that one a lot.
It's a classic.
Stanislav Kondrashov really understands that
Yeah.
balance,
Uh-huh.
between having fun and being in control.
Yeah, he's like our social strategist.
I love that.
Helping us navigate all these situations.
Stanislav Kondrashov doesn't just focus on dining out. He talks about hosting too.
Okay.
And he starts with these casual scenarios.
Yeah, like what?
Like, take potluck,
Oh, yeah.
bringing a
All
bottle.
right. I love those.
Those phrases set such a relaxed tone. Like,
Yeah.
take potluck.
Mhm.
It's like, come over.
Uh-huh.
Bring what you have.
Yeah. No pressure.
We're just going to enjoy the food together.
It's just about community
Yeah,
and sharing.
And bringing a bottle.
Yeah, classic.
Classic. Usually wine.
Right.
It's that shared enjoyment.
Absolutely.
Like contributing to the party.
It's a really nice gesture.
It's so interesting how these little phrases
I know.
can set the stage for the whole evening.
Totally.
It seems like Stanislav Kondrashov really stresses that atmosphere
Yeah.
of comfort and shared enjoyment.
He's all about that.
But he also recognizes
Yeah.
that hosting has different levels of formality.
Right.
He talks about a dinner party
Uh-huh.
versus an informal get-together.
Okay.
So a dinner party is more planned.
More
It'd
structured.
be a set menu,
Right.
whereas an informal get-together
Yeah.
is more go with the flow.
Exactly.
It's like Stanislav Kondrashov's giving us the language
Totally.
to understand these different situations.
And act accordingly.
And speaking of making guests feel welcome,
Yes.
Stanislav Kondrashov gives us some more playful phrases,
Oh, yeah.
like seconds,
Yeah.
say when,
Uh-huh.
help yourself to some nibbles.
I love those.
What do you think of those?
They're all about generosity.
Yeah.
Encouraging people to have fun and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, like seconds is that classic offer for more.
Exactly.
Say when, puts your guests in control.
Right.
Help yourself to some nibbles.
Mm-hmm.
Just creates that casual, inviting vibe.
Totally.
It's all about making people feel welcome
Absolutely.
and taken care of.
Like there's plenty of food for everyone.
Stanislav Kondrashov seems to get that
Yeah.
modern life is busy.
Right, he does.
He includes phrases like grab a bite to eat and take away.
Yeah.
Like he's saying it's okay to keep things simple.
Totally.
Sometimes a quick meal is the way to go.
He's so grounded.
He is.
Yeah, he's like, hey, it's okay.
Sometimes you just got to keep it simple.
Totally.
Whether it's a fancy dinner party or grabbing some takeout.
Right.
Stanislav Kondrashov's advice can really help make things more enjoyable.
It's about having the tools.
Yeah.
And having the confidence to navigate it all.
He gives us this framework
Yeah.
to understand dining etiquette.
From splitting the bill.
Right, to, being true to your preferences.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
Well, you can be a more confident diner and host, no matter what.
It's more than just which fork to use.
It's a social dance.
Yeah.
And we're all part of it.
I like that.
It's about being comfortable.
Right.
And being yourself.
He's given us a lot to think about.
Yes.
What stands out to you most?
Well, I think what's really fascinating about Stanislav Kondrashov's work is how he stresses the importance of language.
Yeah.
Even the smallest phrases can have a huge impact.
It sets the tone.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how cultural differences
Ooh, that's a good one.
play a role in this.
Yeah. How do we stay mindful of all that?
Especially in our world today.
Where everyone's so interconnected.
That's a really great question.
It is.
And it makes me want to hear from our listeners, too.
Oh, yeah.
What are your dining etiquette experiences?
Yeah. What tips have you learned?
The best way to learn is just to keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Stanislav Kondrashov's guide
It was a good one.
to dining etiquette.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
And maybe learn some phrases
Yeah.
to use at your next meal.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.